We got a grant from the ministry, so Michelle Evans and I joined up, and our two school boards got together to put on this Indigenous student leadership camp. And the idea is that this is kind of a kickoff so that we can start to support our students that self-identify in our two boards, and that they have an opportunity to reconnect with their culture and who they are, and so that they can kind of reclaim that and revitalize that and be proud of their identities and where they come from.
I actually heard about this experience on the Student Voice Council where I met Jody, and so I was really interested about that, and I was really excited because I wanted to know more about my Indigenous identity, and I found out that there was going to be elders and there was going to be people that knew and that had already gone through their journey.
My mom's side is from, I can't even remember now, but we're Algonquin First Nation from Mattawa, North Bay.
I am excited to experience Native culture, particularly in this region of our lands.
We want to hear from you. What do you want? What do you want from your school, from your home community, from your school board? If you can, think that big, but what do you want? You really, literally are the future, and you're going to make big changes. You have no idea how powerful that you guys are, and have such tremendous capacity to make this place a much better place than it currently is.
I've been on my journey for about a year now, and I've learned so much about myself and others, and it's just great to get more opportunities like this, because it's a not a once-in-a-lifetime thing, but not too many times.
I think the main reason I accepted coming on this trip in the first place was because I wanted to regain something that I never had the opportunity to get. My identity.
I never really learned much about different cultures, and I think that's really sad. I never learned about our Native history. I never learned about Native people until I got to high school, where I had to. But it's just amazing how we've all come together, and you're all from just such different parts of life, but are connected to Mother Earth, and they're connected to the same types of things.
If you're in this room and you carry a drop, one drop, Anishinaabe, Unkwehui, Cree, whatever, blood, that was your birthright. So what I see here when I look out at all you young people, what I see is you reclaiming and picking up your birthright.
So I had all my medicines out this morning. Well, not mine, but the medicines from the land. But I figured I would, there's a word that I know that you know, but I want you to know it better, okay? There's a word, we say it like this. Akena ode. We have a responsibility as Anishinaabe to live in a way where it empowers the intentions of creation. And that's what I see when we are gathering. That's what I see, that is we're sharing our hearts with each other. The youth need to feel valued as that gift, but they need to find a place where they're needed and wanted.
I feel like my learning has been challenged. Sometimes that can be difficult for me when I'm in like a bit of a different environment other than like a classroom sitting at a desk, and you're supposed to be like learning in a way that's very like cut and dry. But in this it's not, and you have to like expand your thinking in a way that that typically we don't.
That's good. You got your
So yeah, it's very deep thinking, deep stuff that I haven't like fully grasped yet, because you know it's something that you would expect from like a university level course, except it's in like a completely different environment, and it's like a blended sort of classroom, if that makes sense.
Do you ever realize sometimes that out of the ordinary something will come along? And you don't realize that your true nature is you're kind. Where you see something stuck somewhere, you really care for that person, you really care for their situation, and you really, really, really want to do something. Okay? You come out of yourself. And when you do that, you feel there's a feeling of balance that comes to you. That's your true self. You feel content after a while. You go home and you feel good. You feel good for the rest of the day, maybe for the next few days. You just feel something different about yourself. And that's getting in touch with who you really are. In school, in education, and in life, this is what's going to help you, is to get in touch with that feeling. That the circle of life is part of who we are. We're connected to the circle of life, regardless of what that may mean. We are connected with it. If you've been brought up like this, it would have been different. But a lot of you weren't. You weren't raised to understand these things. A lot of Native people are. Okay? And so, and some of you have Native ancestry, some of you don't, but don't matter. You're a human being. And that's what we have to try and do in our races, in our cultures, that they're all equal, they're all good. How many times have we heard that? But we just sort of win in one ear out the other ear and say, yeah, well, someday you're going to have to really understand that. And I think it's in this day and age that we really come to that point now where we've got to start getting along with the rest of the world, the rest of cultures, the rest of languages, whatever it may be. We've got to look at everything that's all equal.
My name is Hoe Pahei. I'm a teacher from Aotearoa, New Zealand, currently teaching in the region of Ngāti Maniapoto, which is central North Island. We went through a place and time where yous are at now. So what I want to do is to show, and especially to our youth, is that the worst thing anyone can do is give up. Because no matter what is put in front of you, how big or how small those challenges are, if you persistently uphold and believe in who you are, this is the benefit. Always be proud of who you are. It's not the language that necessarily determines who you are as a person. The blood that runs through your veins, no matter how big or how small. If you have 1 ounce, 1 droplet of Indigenous blood in you, you are Indigenous, you belong to the land, you belong to the people. Kia kaha koutou ki te hāpai i tā koutou mana motuhake. Ko te mana motuhake, your sovereign right, tō tuakiritana, your identity. Mā reira koutou kai whai oranga tonutanga i roto i tēnei ao hurihuri. By acknowledging who you are and where you come from, and to celebrate it is something that would ensure the sustainability and the survival of the people as a whole in today's society, no matter what.
I've met so many amazing people on this retreat, and like from all different backgrounds, all different schools. Like there's a feeling at this camp that's just, it's nice. Like it's just familiar, and it's everyone wants to bring knowledge to the table. Everyone wants to help out, and that's just something that I'm definitely going to take back with me. It's just that feeling of, you know, people are going through the same thing that I'm going through, and people are still looking for their Indigenous identity, and like it's not just me alone. Everyone here is kind of going through the same thing. I think we need to have talks, even if it's inviting an elder, or even if it's, getting the talk out there that sometimes our history books are wrong. They're not always right. We need to get people in current day in our schools. Like, I would love to see someone that I could talk to that has been through it, that if I raise my hand can actually answer the question. Because I understand teachers do the best that they can, and I'm so grateful for that, but there's it's maybe a little bit more to have someone who's firsthand lived it to actually share those stories and their view.
I learned a lot more than what I expected to learn. Like, I feel like I really connected to a lot of the things that people said and like how they express themselves. I think I'm just gonna get more into my culture, I guess, and I don't know, probably ask my grandparents more questions, because I know my grandma will know because her dad was First Nation. So I don't know, I think I'll just take what I learned and ask questions and see if I can find more about myself and stuff.
An experience like that comes once in a lifetime, to meet so many different people with so many different stories, languages, and just music. It brings everyone together. I think it takes a lot of courage to be able to walk around your city with pride and to be proud of who you are, where you come from, and what your identity is.
We don't learn enough about Indigenous peoples. Only time I learned about it was in grade 10, 1 year. We barely learned anything about it. We just glossed over residential schools for a week or two, and then we're done with it. And we have a lot to learn from them because they were here first, and we seem to ignore that whole fact.
I learned the most about, something everyone just throws around, but I think it's love, and that, there's really nothing without love. You can always find yourself, no matter what you do. There's always going to be people that can help you find your way, or, there's always a road to find who you are or what you want to be.
If you're lost, maybe you don't know what you're doing, or you're going through a really hard time, never give up. The number one thing in life is being curious and exploring your passion. Don't ever give up.